Okay, welcome. If you are here, chances are you are dealing with some things, some underlying things that may or may not be related to the foundation of your health. Or maybe you're just struggling with something and you're wondering if there is a possible natural solution for you. You may be the type of person that feels like you've tried everything. You've gone to the doctors, you've been on different pills, maybe you've gotten shots for different things, and you're still left feeling like you don't have a solution. So if that is you, or maybe you're just like, I want to be proactive. I want to have natural healing. I want to have tools in my repertoire to keep myself healthy so that I'm focusing on well care versus health care. No matter which scenario you fit into, I'm glad you're here. And we're going to talk about something that in doTERRA we refer to as foundational wellness. And I will get into what that means as we go into the presentation here. But what you need to understand is that there is hope. Okay. And as I share this video, you are going to see some different stories of people that it could be just like you that have found hope and are living a much better life because of it. So let's continue. Okay, so one of the concepts that is really important for you to understand as we move forward, you might be wondering, okay, well, what sets doTERRA apart? Why should I go with doTERRA? And how do I know the science and all of that behind these products? Okay, and how do I know that you, as my advocate, have the knowledge to be able to give to me? So doTERRA is actually a really beautiful place to be because we have a team of medical doctors, a team of scientists. We have all sorts of different professionals that come together to help bring the knowledge and the experience to doTERRA. They are the ones that are working together, their research development, product development, education, right? So it is not often, I will tell you, it is not often that Western medicine and holistic medicine come together, right? So you can see in the middle of the screen here, it doesn't happen very often. In fact, if you are somebody who has been to a Western medicine, a typical MD doctor, a lot of times what you may have found is that most of the time they are not even educated on nutrition. It's just not a part of what they do in their program, right? So their knowledge, if you were to come with oils or supplements or that sort of thing, or even lifestyle things that are related to nutrition, a lot of times, I'm not speaking for all doctors, but a lot of times that is not their expertise, right? However, they can look at a problem and they can say, okay, well, this medication would be good for that. Here's a procedure that would be good for that. And there is absolutely a place for that Western medicine piece. But the beautiful thing with doTERRA is that we have Western medicine doctors that also specialize in holistic medicine. So they do practice nutrition. They do understand nutrition. They do understand those things that have the underlying root causes at the heart. And that is the goal of holistic healing, right? Is to bring and to get to that root cause. Okay. So the doctors come together and the scientists come together and the research development team and it all comes together. And then they take that information and they pass it on to us as advocates. Now, we are not doctors. We are not scientists. I mean, there are some doctors that are also doTERRA advocates. And we actually have a lot of focus classes that we offer with these doctors as well. But we are not doctors. We are just one step ahead, maybe, of some other people that are out there. We have taken the information that we have learned from the doctors and the scientists, and we are able to bring that to you to better your understanding. So it's really a beautiful place how the chain of education is passed on through doTERRA. And that is a piece that I think is really important for you to know. Okay, your foundation matters. I told you this workshop was going to be about foundational wellness. And so before we get started on your health, I want you to look at the foundation of a house, okay? And picture how important that foundation is to the whole house thriving, right? So when you look at this picture here, and I want you to kind of think about this, how this could be related to your body, right? When your foundational needs are not met, in terms of a house, you're going to see different symptoms pop up, right? You're going to have cracked walls. You're going to have broken windows. You're going to have shifting in your flooring. Your luxury vinyl plank is not going to lay the way that it needs to, right? You're going to start to see cracks in your ceiling. So, from that foundation not having the support that it needs, different red flags pop up all over the place within that house. And it is no different in your health. We're going to look at on the next slide what are some of the red flags that your body is like waving to you to say, hey, I need help here. Okay, so how do these red flags show up in your body? What are some of the different things that you might see, right? Because we tend to see and feel symptoms, but what those symptoms reveal is something deeper, something underlying that still needs attention. So, some of the most common things that people see, you can feel free to screenshot this part of the slide, but some of the really common things that people see are constant fatigue, or maybe it hits like 2, 3 o'clock and they're crashing. They have trouble focusing. Digestive struggles are huge. Things like bloated all the time, where you're like little love handles are going over your pants and you just feel gross in everything you eat. Constipation, or maybe the other end where people are like running to the bathroom. They're having to plan their days around bathroom trips. Achy joints. Achy joints is absolutely huge, and it is a red flag of underlying inflammation. Um, Thinning hair, Brex, thinning hair and nails. I have people that have come to me, and I'm actually going to share a slide later on in the video that we're having major hair fallout. And the reason for it was actually an underlying nutritional deficiency. And so when we fueled that, it helped her hair to not be falling out in clumps like it was before. Okay. Mood, irritability, right? Even hormones can play into that foundational layer. A weakened immunity. If you are somebody who feels like you're sick all the time, I know plenty of people like that. Sleeping poorly. Sleeping poorly is a huge red flag that your body is missing some things. How about carb cravings? Carb cravings, or that stubborn weight that you can't seem to get rid of, right? Like you feel like maybe you're doing all the right things and you're eating the right things, but your body's just not doing the right things with it. There's a reason for that. Needing caffeine just to function. That was me. And I'm going to share my story on a future slide. So I'm not going to go in depth here, but that was me. I was functioning on caffeine all day long. So if any of these sound like you, and I'm sure you can probably maybe pinpoint a few of them, then the foundation of your health could be waving some red flags at you. It could be saying, hey, we need support. And you will be amazed when you hear more testimonials further on here as to things that can improve by just fueling the foundation. And I'm going to share some amazing stories with you on that. So, how do we help? What does it mean when we fuel the foundation? Okay. So, what you see here is doTERRA's wellness pyramid. And just like a house, there is a foundation of the pyramid, and that is nutrition, digestion, and an elimination. And when we target those three things, you would be amazed at what improves because of that. Okay. So, let's talk first about nutrition. When we think about nutrition, as a whole, our country is very, very nutrient deficient. And when your body doesn't have the proper fuel, it can't do the actions that it's supposed to take. Our body is a beautiful thing. Our body knows how to heal. Our body knows what to do. But when it doesn't have the fuel to do it, the nutrients to do it, it's going to struggle. Okay. Digestion is at the base because our body needs to be then moving the things around, and then comes in elimination. We need to be breaking down what comes in, and we need to be eliminating it from our bodies. And again, unfortunately, in the state of America and the state of the food that we have, our food doesn't have the digestive enzymes that it should. If we're not eating all whole food organic, right? Our food does not have the natural digestive enzymes built in, which is why a lot of people have digestive issues. But again, these underlying issues with nutrition, digestion, and elimination, those cause a ripple effect through the rest of our body. And it's where our body starts waving that red flag. So we're going to talk about our foundational wellness pieces, three simple pieces that come together and really help to support that foundation so that the rest of our body can function as it should. Okay, I told you I was going to share a deeper piece into my story, what I thought was normal when I started with doTERRA. And I will tell you, I didn't start doTERRA because I was looking for a picture of health. I actually started because the business plan intrigued me, but I was pleasantly surprised later in how much it changed my life and the life of my family when it comes to health. Okay, so some of the different things that I was dealing with, number one, I told you I was drinking a pot of coffee every single day by myself. Okay, I actually remember being on Zoom meetings with former colleagues, and they're all, sipping on their water and everything throughout the day. And I'm at like 2, 3 o'clock and I'm heating up another cup of coffee, another cup of coffee. It was just what I did. And I honestly didn't even think that poorly of it um, until it shifted, right? Postpartum hair loss. It was major. I had My two youngest, I had them 15 months apart. I lost hair with the first and it never really came back. And then I lost more. And so would look in the mirror and I would literally see like baldness in my crown and in the sides. That improved. I had this hip pain that I would walk and I literally felt like I was going to drop my kids. I was worried about that. I would have to like grab onto things. The hip pain went away. I went from drinking a pot of coffee a day to not even needing coffee, to the point now, if I have coffee, it's a treat and I'm putting protein in it. And that all came from fueling my foundation. Now, my husband is another example here. And his stems, I mean, energy was helped, but his is more with pain. And what we also have targeted solutions, which we'll talk more about, but he would wake up in pain every day. He would take the bottle of ibuprofen and literally dump it into his mouth. He wasn't counting how much he was taking because he needed it to do his physical job every day. He's a hoof trimmer. He trims cows' feet. So it's very physical. It's using knives, it's using grinders, it's levers. So constant movement, right? And I'll never forget the day he woke up and he's like, it's like I'm not even in pain anymore. I still get chills to this day when I tell that story because that is powerful. When you can help somebody get from struggling to get out of bed and function, and they're literally taking these over the counter medications because they need it to survive and they don't think there's anything different, and you take them to the point where now they're like, I feel like I'm not even in pain anymore. That is power. And that changes how they then show up for their family. And that is why I love what I do. So my story is just a glimpse of hope if you're feeling the same way. Okay. So where are the heroes that help, right? Here's what I want you to remember from this slide. It is not about the specific products, but I want you to remember three key pieces, okay? Those three key pieces are vitamins, omega 3s, okay? Your fish oil, and then gut health. All right. The names of the products, I don't think that matters quite as much. What I want you to understand is that with those pieces, you're going to build the foundation of your health. Okay. Vitamins. We have a couple different options for vitamins, which your advocate will talk to you about and figure out which one works best for you. One is in a drink form, one is in a pill form. There's different options, different benefits to each, right? But ultimately, that vitamin support is coming in and it is, again, fueling your body with what it needs. It's getting it the nutrients that it needs that we are not getting from our food alone. Okay. Your vitamin A, your vitamin B. So it's essentially like keeping your body stocked with the nutrients that it needs so that when it needs to perform one of those bodily functions, it can. Now you might be like, well, I already take a multivitamin. Well, here's what you need to understand that sets doTERRA apart, okay? These vitamins are highly, highly bioavailable. What does that mean? It means that your body can actually use most of what's there. Okay, 95% of what's there. Most supplements that you can get on the market are 20 to 30% bioavailable, which means you can use 20 to 30%, you're peeing out the rest. So it's high quality that your body is able to use on demand when it needs it. And that is what sets it apart. And the other key is bioretention, which basically means it's staying in your body. It's staying in your body so that you have it available to you all day long. All right. The shelf life, so to speak, of natural or other supplements that are out there, it's not like that. Your body is going to use it up very quickly because you're only using 20 to 30% and then it's gone. And so you're still going to feel that afternoon crash, right? You might be like, well, I take supplements, I take a multivitamin, but it's not doing anything. That's a key difference. Okay. Omegas. Why omegas are so important. Omega 3s, fatty acids. A lot of your organs are actually built up of a lot of fat. You need this. Okay. It is huge for inflammation. Here's a reference I like to share. We should be at a 1-to-1 level with omega 3s and omega 6s. Omega 3s coming from healthy fats, that sort of thing. Omega 6s, a lot of them are coming from like our processed foods and that sort of thing. We need them. Okay, it's pro-inflammatory. If I roll my ankle, I need my ankle to become inflamed. It's one of the things that the body does. But I need those omega 3s to then come in and reduce that swelling, and we don't have enough of them, which leaves people in a state of chronic inflammation. The pain, the joints, right? Inflammation in the gut, all sorts of places that inflammation shows up without or throughout your body. Omegas are also crucial for your heart, your brain, your metabolism. They actually have found that babies that are born to mothers with higher levels of omega 3s actually have better visual acuity. Oh gosh, there was another piece of that. Either way, those babies are better off because of the mother's higher level of omega 3. So omegas are absolutely crucial. All right. And then gut health. Gut health, you've probably heard of probiotics. There's a reason for that. And I know it's a buzzword, but you may also have found yourself taking probiotics and you're like, yeah, I don't really feel like it's doing anything. That will not be the case here. Okay. These are very powerful pre, pro, and postbiotics. It's actually dual encapsulated, which means it's slow release through your body. A lot of probiotics that are out there, they get engulfed in the harsh stomach acids and they never even make their way into your intestines, which means it's not doing what it's supposed to do. You might be like, yeah, great, I take a probiotic, but I'm still not regular with my bowel movements. I'm still running to the bathroom or I'm still constipated, right? It's not doing what it needs to do. This will get you regular, okay? And if it doesn't, then we know we need some targeted support to come in. So picture this like your baseline start. Your omegas, your vitamins, and your gut health. And when you fuel that foundation, you're going to see on these next few slides some amazing transformations that have happened in some of our customers because it is that important. Okay. And I'm just going to point out something on here with the VMG bundle there. When you purchase that bundle, that foundational wellness bundle, they actually send you a free mini bottle of peppermint oil and the free shaker bottle that you can make your drink in. So that's just an added bonus. It's just one of the perks doTERRA has for their rewards customers. But this is the key to your foundation. Okay, let's start in with Sherry's story. And I like Sherry's story to start because it takes a specific thing, migraines, right? Like we look at migraines as their own separate thing. We look at it as something where we need a certain Excedrin or something like that to conquer it, right? But the problem with something like that is it's just putting a band-aid on it. It's not getting to the root of what was causing the migraines in the first place. So again, that's where fueling that foundation comes in. Sherry was getting 18 migraines a month when she actually started with doTERRA. Okay. She was on prescriptions that masked them for 13 years. She started shots for 2 years, which did decrease it to 4 to 5 per month, but that's still a lot of migraines in a year. She started on foundational wellness in March of 2023. And in 5 months, she was able to completely stop her prescriptions and injections. And in the last, it's been over 2 years at this point, 8 migraines. Okay. From 18 a month, do that times 12. I was never good at my 12s facts. To 8 in the last 2+ years. That is huge. And it wasn't because she put a band aid on the symptom, it's because she fueled that foundation. And it's like, fixing the foundation is going to begin to fix the cracks in the walls and the cracks in the windows. All right. So that's one story. Okay. And here we have 4 different testimonials that show results all across the board. Because I think it's really important for you to see that it's not just one thing that improves when you target your foundation. Okay. So first we have Marcy, energy, hair growth, and weight loss. Okay. Marcy said her hair was thinning. She was never getting haircuts before. Her hair is noticeably improved. She lost 20 pounds, but the clear thing she wants to say here is that it wasn't because this is some magic pill. It was because she finally had the energy to exercise regularly again. So the fixing the foundation helped her to fix her lifestyle and make better lifestyle choices so that she could have the results that she wanted. It's helped to take away her cravings. She actually said she's almost 50 and she's feeling better now than she did in her 30s and 40s. So that is huge. Next to Marcy, we have Kim, energy, focus, and bloating. Increased energy throughout the day, no longer feeling the need for that afternoon nap. And going number 2, every day, sometimes twice a day. So she's not feeling so bloated. That is a huge win. We have Amy. Amy, I love her story because it's not about what it's doing now. But Amy, there was a shipping delay with her supplements. And she's like, I am literally dying. I have not had my VMG, which is the green drink, for 2 weeks. Her energy is shot. Her digestion is terrible. Her sleep is terrible. She's randomly crying for no reason. So it's messing with her mood. Like, it just goes to show the impact that it has when your body is used to the fuel and then you pull that fuel away. All right. And then we have Kim next to her on the bottom right. And I will tell you, Kim is only taking the probiotic, okay? The gut health piece. And she said she no longer feels unsettled right after eating. She's been regularly pooping. And I think the biggest piece for Kim that I love is that she has increased confidence eating out or at home. Like, imagine being that person that doesn't want to eat out because you have no idea when you're going to be running to the bathroom next. Like, that is big change. Okay, and next we have Jeannie. And Jeannie is one of my favorite stories to share. Jeannie was actually one of my very first customers that came to me. And when she came to me, her stomach was such a mess that her doctor told her she would need to be on medication for the rest of her life. Okay. She started on foundational wellness and we gave her some extra support, some extra targeted support for her gut. Um, And in just 1.5 months, she was able to completely stop her stomach meds. And I'm sure there's somebody that's going to be watching this video at some point that doesn't want to be taking all of the medication that they're taking because it's having side effects in other areas. And so Jeannie's story can be hope and inspiration that it is possible for change for you too. Now, I share this slide because this is how you understand that we have the foundation, but we also have targeted supports that can come in. So for things like hair or pain is a huge one for my customers. I think especially because of the story from my husband. It's like I have seen such improvement for people. So targeted support, I wanted to share this story of one of my customers. She actually came to me because she was taking GLP-1 medication, and it essentially, while it was benefiting her in the weight loss department, she was losing hair in clumps. And so from looking into it, what I realized is that with that medication, um your nutrients, a lot of your nutrients get depleted in your body. And what you need to understand is that your body is going to take the nutrients that it has and it's going to fuel your vital organs first. Good thing, right? We kind of need those. But in the meantime, things like your hair and your nails, they can lose some of their life, right? And we don't want to have to give up one thing that we love in order to have another thing that we love. It shouldn't have to be that way. So we took a targeted approach for her. We brought in some vitamin support, but we also brought in collagen. We also brought in rosemary essential oil that's really good for hair growth. And so we went a targeted support route to help give her what you see here. And so in just under a month, look at the change in her hair fallout again from supporting what she needed. So the stories don't end there, but what you need to understand is that we will take the time, your advocate will take the time to figure out what are you struggling with, and then we will help to match and come up with an appropriate plan just for you. Okay, I'm going to read this slide to you because I think it's really important to capture. The truth is, the heart attack at 50 began at 20. The Alzheimer's at 70 started at 40. The loss of independence at 80 began at 30. The aging you want tomorrow begins with the choices you make today. So in America, our health has largely been reactive, where we're relying heavily on medicine to treat the symptoms rather than getting to the root. And this is where the disconnect happens. And this is why the state of America is in such a health crisis. So, how can you help that for yourself? Is to begin to fuel your own foundation. Begin to give your body what it needs for well care to hopefully avoid some of the health care down the road, because your choices today dictate what's going to happen in your future. Okay. So thank you for watching. Next steps would be to meet with your advocate and figure out what might be a good starting point for you. We can work with you. We will work with what you're dealing with. We will work with your budget. We will work with all of what you need to come up with a starting point. And then if that starting point needs tweaking, or if you start to notice, wow, this is really improved, but this is not, that's where we can then come in with targeted support. So super happy that you took the time to be here with me. And I look forward to hearing how your health journey begins to improve.